Hello guys, welcome back to VC Tech. Today we are going to look at point-to-point WAN configuration on a Cisco router. In many enterprise networks, organizations connect to remote sites using a dedicated WAN link. One of the most common ways to implement this is through a point-to-point connection, where two routers communicate directly over a serial link. In this video, we will learn what point-to-point WAN connection is, how it works, and how to configure it on a Cisco router using point-to-point protocol. We will also compare it with multi-access network to understand when each design is used in a real network. For this tutorial, we are going to be making use of 2 routers, 2 switches, and 4 host devices. So on the right side, we can see point-to-point connection, as well as we can also see a multi-access network. Before we head into the main objective for today's tutorial, let's talk about what a point-to-point connection is. Point-to-point connection is a network link that connects exactly 2 devices, as we have over here. These devices are directly connected, so this is a point-to-point connection. While a multi-access network connects multiple devices that shares the same network segment. As you can see over here, these 2 routers are connected to this switch and they share the same network segment. So that is what a multi-access network is, and also a point-to-point connection. I know you're wondering why we've not connected this router and this router, which is the site A to site B router. For this tutorial, we are going to be making use of a serial cable. A serial cable is used for one point-to-point connection, and it requires clocking from the DCE side, while a copper crossover cable is used for Ethernet connection in local area networks and does not require clocking configuration. So this connection over here was done using copper crossover cable. So this is a copper crossover cable, while for this tutorial we are going to be making use of a serial cable. You do not always use a serial DCE cable for point-to-point connection. You only need it when you want to simulate a WAN serial link. So first, before we try to connect, as you can see, we only have Giga Ethernet ports and no serial ports on the router. Let's try to connect a serial link and see what is going to happen. So we click on the router, and as you can see, it is not possible for us to connect a serial DCE cable to the router because there is no port that can actually take that connection. On default, serial ports are not always built into a router. In many cases, you need to add a serial module to enable one serial connection. So that is what we are going to do now. We are going to need to enable a serial module for us to be able to use a serial connection on the router. So how do we do that? Let's power off the router, because if it's on and we try to click and drag this HWIC-2T, click and drop it over here, you're going to see that we cannot add the module when the power is on. So we are going to need to power it off, then click and drag and power it back on. Let's do the same connection for this router over here. Click and drag this. So we've now connected the serial ports to the router. Let's try to connect the cable one more time and see what's going to happen. So previously when we checked, we only saw Giga Ethernet ports. Well, now we also have serial ports on the router. So let's click this and also connect it with this router over here. Previously when we talked about point-to-point connection, point-to-point connection already gives us a direct connection between 2 routers, as you can see over here. So this is already a point-to-point connection, which is the basic communication, and it uses the default protocol like HDLC. But when we add point-to-point protocol, it enhances the link with more features. I know you're wondering what that means. That is what we are going to be doing for this tutorial. We are going to enhance this point-to-point connection, and you can only do that using a serial connection, as an Ethernet connection cannot offer you those features. Before we get into configuring point-to-point, let's assign IP address to the interfaces of the router, then head over with our configuration for point-to-point protocol on the router. So let's assign IP address to the interfaces of the router, then we head over to configure our point-to-point protocol on the serial port interfaces. So on this router, let's assign IP address. So let's assign IP address 192.168.1.1. Then power this on, head over to the serial port. This will be taking 10.0.0.1, and they will also be using the /24 subnet. Let's also assign IP address to this device. Power it on first. So let's assign IP address to the interfaces of this router. So 192.168.2.1, and also on the serial port, this will be taking 10.0.0.2, also /24. Now we've assigned IP address to both interfaces of the router and also on the serial port. What other configuration do we have to do for site A to communicate with site B? If you know the answer, leave the answer in the comment section. So next, our configuration is going to be a routing protocol to enable site A to communicate with site B. So after assigning IP address to the interfaces of the router, let's head over and configure a routing protocol as if we should try to ping with this device. You're going to be getting destination host unreachable because we've not configured the routing protocol to reach the site B network. Let's also ping from this device and see what is going to happen. So let's ping 192.168.1.5. As you can also see, we are getting destination host unreachable. Let's configure a routing protocol to enable site A to communicate with site B. Router OSPF, the process ID of 10, and a router ID of 1.1.1. Also specify the networks that are directly connected. 1.0 with a wildcard bits of 0.0.255, area 0. So we also do the same for the 10.0.0 network. So I just adjust this, and this will take 0 and this will take 10. So let's also do that on the second router, so site A can communicate with site B. So router OSPF, the process ID of 10 and a router ID of 1.1.1.2. The networks are 192.168.2.0 with a wildcard bit of 0.0.255, area 0. And the second network is 10.0.0.0 with a wildcard bit of 0.0.0.255, area 0. We've configured the routing protocol, and as you can see over here, it has formed neighbor with 1.1.1. Let's try to ping and see what's going to happen. Previously we got destination host unreachable. Let's see if our configuration made a difference. Yes, it did. So we can now communicate with site B from site A. All right, so let's start the configuration of point-to-point. So this is the first step that we take when configuring a point-to-point WAN network. So first, we have to assign a host name to our router. So the host name will be taking site A and a username. When creating username for point-to-point, the username should be the host name of the other router. So for this router, which is the site A router, the username of this router should be the host name of site B router, while the host name of site B router would be site B, and the username of site B router would be site A. I hope you understand that. So let me show you what I mean. Username is going to be site B, and the password is going to be 10. On the site B router, we say the host name should be site B, while the username should be site A. And the password should always match. The password should be 10. So we've assigned host name and also username to the router. Let's start our configuration for point-to-point protocol. So let's head over to the serial port and start our configuration for point-to-point protocol. So interface serial 0/3/0. So at this point, we want to be using or encapsulate PPP. Now, what does PPP add to the serial port? PPP allows you to verify the device on the other side using protocol like password authentication protocol and challenge handshake authentication protocol. For this tutorial, we are going to be making use of CHAP, which is the challenge handshake authentication protocol. We've already specified that we want to be using PPP, and remember, we use PPP when we want to authenticate who we are talking to on the other side of the router. And now we say PPP authenticates. We want to authenticate this using CHAP, which is the challenge handshake protocol. We also have PAP, which is the password authentication protocol, and the challenge handshake protocol. We are going to be using the challenge handshake protocol. Let's also do the same configuration on this router. So we say interface serial 0/3/0, and we want to encapsulate, or we want to use PPP, point-to-point protocol. And using point-to-point protocol, it offers us a level of security. And we want to say PPP, and we want to be authenticating those credentials using CHAP. In other words, we can say PPP enhance a point-to-point connection by adding authentication, better link control, and it also makes the connection more secured and reliable. So guys, as you can see, we've configured our point-to-point protocol as we have over here. First of all, we start by creating our host name and also username and password, and we made sure that the password always corresponds with the password on the site B router. Then we head over to the interface serial 0/3/0. We use point-to-point protocol, and we are also authenticating the point-to-point protocol that we used using a challenge handshake protocol. Previously, when we checked our interface, it was showing us that it was disabled because it has not picked up. As you can see over here, it is saying that the line protocol is on and it has changed to up. Let's also check that one more time and see what we are going to get. So do show interface serial 0/3/0. Now serial 0/3/0 is up and the line protocol is also up. Previously, when we checked, it was disabled. Now, as you can see, it is connected. So I'll briefly recap what point-to-point protocol is, like what it offers to a network. PPP enhances a point-to-point connection by adding authentication, better link control, and also make the network connection more secured and reliable. As you saw previously, we created a password and also a username for us to be able to connect to a site B or a site A router. To summarize this, a point-to-point WAN connection connects two routers directly using a dedicated link that provides reliable communication between two remote networks. And it is commonly implemented using protocols like PPP or HDLC. Understanding this concept is important because many enterprise and service providers network rely on point-to-point connection to connect different sites securely and efficiently. Now you know the security level of a basic Ethernet point-to-point connection and a serial port point-to-point connection. If this video helped you understand all of that, why not smash the like button and subscribe to this channel? Because next we are going to be talking about GRE WAN connection. Thank you guys and see you in the next video.